Topic time.
And here we are with the topic, and today's topic is an absolute juicer, as they always are. It is the PlayStation State of Play Japan. Now, this happened on November 11th, I believe, and it was 40-ish minutes, a little bit longer than that, dedicated to the Japanese audience. So we are not specifically the target market for this direct, for this State of Play announcement. However, myself and young Master Philip, we did watch it through. We did a react, which you can go on to our YouTube channel. If you're not already subscribed there, please consider subscribing. We're on the road to 300. We're at 294, I think, is the day of recording.
95, actually. I just refreshed it. So we have a subscriber, hello, that has joined during recording.
Oh, look at that. Very nice. Growing army. 5 to go for end of year. So if you haven't considered subscribing there, please do. We're trying to grind to 300, and then we can go and defend ourselves against the Persian Empire, much like the 300 of old. But anywho, this was not supposed to be for us, but we did watch it. Spence, I know that you've watched it too, so it should make for a good little discussion. And what we do whenever we have a State of Play or any kind of gaming conference that we watch, we always play a little game called Shag, Marry, Kill. If you don't know what that is, basically means that we got a choice of one game that we can shag, so you have a nice little fling with, you have a great time. One game that you marry, so you're in it for the long haul, or you hope to be the long haul. And one game that you just want to wipe off the face of the earth and kill. That's the way we do it. Keeps it nice and civil. Keeps it a way that speaks to us as people, I believe. Really dumbs it down to the bare necessities of you need to pick something that's going to really speak for you, that you're going to represent. Now, first, before we get into any of that stuff, lads, I want to know your top-level thoughts on the conference. Did you enjoy it? What's your kind of rating? Give me your thoughts. Spence, I'm going to start with you.
Sure. So I watched it over my friend Carl's house. We just watched it together because I was going to do the react with you boys, but I had some unfortunate stuff happen that day. So just ended up watching it casually. And to be fair, I enjoyed the show, enjoyed the presentation. It's weird that they got like a random voice actor from Japan to be the host of it. It's the voice of Todoroki from My Hero. And it's just a bit bizarre. I think he might be Eren Yeager as well, but I might be wrong on that. But he's definitely Todoroki from My Hero. And I was just, whilst the whole time I was watching the thing, I was a bit like, why do I know that bloke? So I've heard that voice before. And that's why I found out. But it's weird they do that, but I understand it. And then just the games. The games were very, very Japanese. Exceptionally Japanese, but some of them were quite good. And there was one part of the show which stood out quite a lot, but I won't talk about that just yet. But I thought it was a good presentation. It was quick, not too much faffing about. It was just well presented, I suppose. So I very much actually quite enjoyed it, albeit somewhat let down in a certain way, but we talk about that in a bit.
So what would be your rating then, Spence? What would you go out?
6. So it's not massively high. I know.
6, wow.
Yeah, it's just, there was nothing massive. There was no big game or anything. And most of the games that were there, we're not going to get anyway. And then most of them were just such Japan bait, so obviously made for that market. Plain as day made for Japan, which obviously is a Japanese direct. What do you expect? Oh, like State of Play, sorry. What do you expect? But, that's it. And then what I wanted to happen, which would have elevated it up more, didn't happen. So it's sitting on a 6 because the presentation was quite good.
Fair enough. What about yourself, Mr. Hoy?
Well, surprisingly, I enjoyed this one. I think we both came in to the stream thinking, what is going to be here? We're not going to understand this. But actually, when the games were being announced, there was a lot of kind of raised eyebrows. There was lots of IP there that maybe we hadn't heard about in a while. We didn't know what the current state of play was with that IP, and it spoke to us on a few different games, didn't it, Davey? We actually quite enjoyed it. Not to give away your thoughts, but for me, I quite enjoyed this one. There was quite a few games there that actually I'm going to put on my watch list and see where they go. If they launch at the right times, I've got some of the dates of the games when we do our Shag, Marry, Kill. So if those sort of sync up and I've got some spare time, I think I'm going to probably buy a couple of these games because there was quite a few interesting ones altogether. And much like Spencer, even though we watched the stream separately to Spencer, I think we both came away thinking the presentation was a whole lot better, actually, than what we get from a European standpoint when we get a normal state of play from Sony, from PlayStation. I really enjoyed having the kind of sit down with the developers. They came into the room. We had a presenter, a live presenter. We had a set. And I just liked that kind of style of show a lot better than maybe just the talking head that we got against the green screen on previous shows for the Western audience, as I said. I'd rate it slightly higher than Spencer. I'm let down by exactly the same reason I'm predicting. But I'm going to go for a 7 out of 10 on this one.
Guys, I'm fully right there with you. I think presentation-wise, this was the best it's been. Unless we harken back to like PS4 era and PS3 era where they had people on stages and things like that. But in terms of what we've been having lately, I fully agree with you guys. I think this was really, really well presented. It looks slick. The sets look fantastic. And even though I can't understand Japanese, I was picking up what he was putting down. I thought there was humor in the right places. It was really informative, and it did what it needed to do. And I think, we got to always keep in mind for this that this wasn't made for us. It was explicitly clear that this was for the Japanese market. And I think Sony did a great job here in collating a group of games together that would speak to that very specific audience. And there's some great stuff that we'll go into, I'm sure, in the announcements for the different games. But there were things, as Phil said, that jumped across the water, went from the Far East over to us in the West, and really did light a little spark there for things that I had no interest in before, no idea about. And so from that side, I'd say it's very much a success. I am very much sharing the same line as yourselves that I was disappointed that we didn't get more for a certain game, which I'm sure we will go into. But overall, I'm walking away, same as you, Phil. I'm walking away as 7 out of 10 on this. I think it could have been elevated with a couple of different things, but I've got to always bear in mind that I was never the target here. And I think for the Japanese market, I can see it being scoring a lot higher because I can't see how they could have really improved it for that market, to be honest. But let's dive into this with a little bit more detail, shall we? So let's start with our shags. Let's get this out of the way first off. Spence, we always start with yourself. Today is no different. What's your shag, my mate?
Okay, mate. So I'm trying to find which game it even was, first of all, because I can't remember. It was whichever one. I think it's, where'd it go? Fate Trigger might actually be the one I like, but I might be wrong. So I don't know. There was a game that looked like a battle royale or something, but it looked sick. Like it actually looked good. Whatever that was. But I'm not going to shag it. What am I saying? Sod it. What I'm going to go for is Broken Law. Which one do I pick? There's two of them. I'm going to go for Unfollow, because that one looks a bit creepier on the art. These are like horror games or survival horror. Very Japanese survival horror, but they looked just like a bit of us, I suppose. I remember watching the trailer thinking, yeah, this looks quite sick and creepy as hell. So, I want that. I don't know what else I can say. It was only a 50-second trailer we got to see, but it just looks quite spooky. And the issue is it looks like a mix of survival horror we get and a mix of those horror PC games that people are always streaming that bang for views. It looks like a combination of that. And honestly, I'm up for that. Because traditional survival horror with the nonsense that happens on those games, I'm about it. I think that's going to be fun. And I'm keen to play it if I even get the chance.
Yeah, this was shown as the double, right? Where they
two
had
games, yeah.
the two different games. These were the ones that I remember when we watched this live, Phil, that we were both like, ooh, yeah, these look really interesting. I'm right there with you. I think this is certainly one to watch. I mean, we got the dates for these coming out in January and then summer of next year, with Broken Law and Follow coming out in the Jan and Ascend coming out in the summer. I'm definitely right there with you, pal. I think this looked great. I think it's really, really interesting. I want to see more before I'm in for any deeper than that. But I think for a shag, fully respectable opinion, and yeah, definitely spoke to me too.
Very good.
Yeah, 100%. Got to agree with both of you. I think, as Davey said on the stream, this was something that sort of perked our interest when we were going through some of the most obvious Japanese games that you just think, yeah this isn't going to work anywhere else other than Japan. There's a girl with a massive machine gun and cat ears wearing lingerie. Yeah, probably not going to work over in Europe as well as it would over in Japan. But this one, there was something special there. There was a little bit of interest. So I think this is one just to keep an eye on and see where this goes now.
100%, mate. Well, hopefully we will see some more of this, because it would be such a shame if we get into January and we've seen nothing more. Because I think this is something that, if it's got us there, there's going to be a whole subset of like survival horror and horror fans who'd be crying out to see some more. So why not? Don't relegate it to the blog, is what I'm saying, PlayStation. Get it out there. Get it out there. Spread some love. January's a quiet month, generally. What about yourself, Mr. Hoy? Where are you going for your shag?
Well, I'm going to stick away from the survival horror. Because there is another quite interesting survival horror, which I'm hoping we'll talk about at some stage. But I'm going to go for the game that probably piqued my interest the most outside the most obvious one, which is going to be definitely one of our marries. This is the game called Nevergrave, The Witch and the Curse. And I tweeted about this. I put it out on Discord as well. So this is a Metroidvania roguelike, and it looks like a multiplayer Hollow Knight. It looks exactly like Hollow Knight with a different skin, and you've got a cat. Looks really, really cute. Comes out March 5th next year. So I think Davey or Spence, if you do want to team up and take on The Witch and the Curse, I'd be very much up for this. I think it looks like, as I said, a multiplayer Hollow Knight. It looks really, really interesting. Did you guys, did your interest get piqued by this one?
I got to say, man, yeah, I've got this in my marry. Spoilers. But yeah, I thought it looked absolutely fantastic. The art style, as you said, is there's nothing too original here in this art style, but the gameplay wise, it mixing it with like fucking Mario Odyssey almost, with taking over these things and having it in co-op. Great. Sign me up. I think the more I read about this and the more I see about this game, the more interested I am. And yeah, I'm definitely in for this. I think it's a day one for me, if in all honesty. I thought this game looked fantastic. Like really, really intrigued by it. But Spence, are you feeling the same?
Well, the issue is, yes, I am. It looks great. The caveat is that it's done by the people who did Pal World, and they've just ripped off another game again. That's all they do. They ripped off Pokemon and put guns in it, and now they've ripped off freaking Hollow Knight and put Mario in it. They can't keep getting away with it, is what I feel. It's insane. It looks brilliant. It looks great. It looks like something I'd really love to play. Granted, I've not done Hollow Knights, and I really should. What the hell? How do they keep getting away with it? That's my only concern. I feel like this is a lawsuit waiting to happen, same as Power World was. So that's my only concern with it. But I do think it looks great.
I wouldn't say it was in lawsuit territory with this game. I think there's a fair amount of similarities in kind of like the style and the gameplay. But when it comes to the actual, setting of the game and the multiplayer aspect and the kind of, it seems like you can somewhat take over animals in the game. That seems quite foreign to Hollow Knight. So they have looked at that game, taken a heavy influence. I do agree with you, Spence. But they've added like a multiplayer twist with the Mario influence, as you said, Davey. But I think they'll get away with this one. I think it's further enough away to get away with it.
That's what they do, though, man. They made Pokemon again and put guns in it. And they were like, oh, it's different. Pokemon doesn't have guns. It's like, what do you mean?
Worked,
Still
though.
Getting sued.
Yeah, it still worked for them, though. They still did quite well off the back of it. People enjoyed that game. I can't speak to it myself, but no, fair play to them. Well, my shag, lads, is I got a tough one here because I'm trying to think about what you guys haven't got, and I'm also saving myself a marry since it's kind of gone. I'm going to go for Fatal Frame 2, Crimson Butterfly Remake here. And the reason for it is because I called it I thought it was Fatal Frame when we were seeing it. And I've never played a Fatal Frame ever in my life, which always feels like, as a survival horror fan, a proper glaring omission. You know, people love this series, and I've never tried it. And until that showcase, I had no idea that was like Koei Tecmo, like ever.
Yeah.
I always thought it was Capcom. I don't know why. I always just did. Always assumed it was Capcom or Sega, one of the two, right? And it's neither. So, yeah, I thought it looked great. I thought it's a great jumping in point for someone who's never played the series to play a remake. And from everything I'm seeing online, people are saying it looks very faithful. So, hey, I'm up for giving it a go. You know, it all depends on what's out at the time and what I'm playing in the backlog. But I'm certainly interested enough in this to put it into my shag. So that's where I'm going. Now, do either of you guys have any... have you ever played like a Fatal Frame or anything, Spence?
I think I played one a little bit, but I can't quite recall, so I might be lying to you. But I definitely watched a full playthrough of one back when I used to watch a Let's Play YouTuber, and they definitely did it. They'd always do like horror games for Halloween and stuff. 100% they did Fatal Frame, and I loved Fatal Frame. I remember looking at it thinking, this is such a bit of me. But back then, I wasn't much of a horror game enjoyer because they just frightened me. So I wouldn't play it on my own. But this, now a remake, perfect. Brilliant. And I've wanted Fatal Frame to come back for ages because Fatal Frame is just cool. It's a great little idea. Just taking pictures of ghosts. You know, lovely. I'm keen for this. I think it's a good shag. And honestly, I was debating putting it as my shag as well. So it's a very good choice.
Oh, there you go. What about yourself, Mr. Hall? Are you following along the same lines?
Yeah, he's taken the words right out of my mouth. And I think I remarked to you during the show that I'd never played a Fatal Frame, but always very interested in what this IP holds. And for us now to be getting a remake in March next year, same as you, Davey, if I've got the time, I think I'll be picking this one up day one. It looks great. It looks proper spooky, you know? It's kind of got that kind of like alluring kind of vibe to it where you're really interested, but you're a little bit like, whoa, do I really go for this? Is it going to scare the bejesus out of me? And probably it will, I think.
Here's hoping, mate. Here's hoping. Well, we'll wait and see. Obviously, you know, the year's going to fill out pretty quickly, and 2026 is going to be stacked. As 2025 is, I went into 2025 thinking, it's not that big of a heavy year this year. We've got GTA and a couple of other things, Go to Tie. And then here we are, we've ended the year and it's been fucking mental. So I'm sure 2026 can be no different. Hoping for the best. Hope we get a bit of clear time around then. On to our marries then. Spence, you're lucky that you can start off with a nice low-hanging fruit here. What are you going for, mate?
Well, do I even go for it?
We do have to talk about this, okay?
Yeah.
So if you don't go for it, and I don't go for it,
I'll have
and Davey doesn't go for it, we'll have it at the end of the show.
Of course I'm going to go for it, mate. Marvel Tokon Fighting Souls. What a game, bro.
What a great impression, by the way.
Thank you, mate.
Japanese
Impressions
impression.
normally.
It's fucking fantastic.
Yeah,
when he pulls it out of the
fantastic.
bag, it's absolutely 10 out of 10.
When
Mate,
it doesn't matter, the pressure's off.
There's Duolingo, mate. Duolingo coming through. Bro, more Marvel Tokon Fighting Souls. Tokon Fighting Souls. So keen. So keen. This is where I wanted more. And I think you boys are in the same boat. I hopped out of my chair. I was like, oh, fuck. Because it didn't even cross my mind until about 5 minutes before Tokon came on. And I thought, they might show Tokon here. And then a second they did, or they said just before, they went, and we've got some people from Arc Sys. And I went, oh, fuck. Flew out my chair. I was like, oh my God, they're going to talk about it. Who are we seeing? Is what I said. Who are we going to see? No one. No one, man. Proper knife to the freaking heart that was. But 72-hour non-stop beta. It's pretty good. That game is going to get broken wide open on that weekend. And I cannot wait. Lads, I'm sure you're just as keen as I am. Phil, mate, what did you think?
Well, this was the highlight of the show for myself as well, Spence, and I was absolutely gassed as soon as they announced that two of the developers from Arc Sys were coming on to introduce Marvel Tokon Fighters. And what we got a closed beta from the 5th to the 7th of December, which is welcome to most people, apart from myself, because I'm on holiday during that time. And I'm traveling or at least during the 5th and the 6th. So yeah, I won't be able to join you, unfortunately, on the closed beta. So I'm very gutted about that one. But what we did get, Spence, is an extra level. All right. And that level is an X-Men level. So of course my hype radar went up to the moon. I had that little rocket ship. I couldn't predict that we were going to get something like this. And with the amount of characters that we got within the background, we got Gambit, we got Psylocke, we got Beast, we got Archangel, Professor X was in there, Colossus was in there, the Sentinels were in there. It was a packed level. But the problem was with that level is that the level of polish on these characters wasn't to the same degree as the actual characters you use within Tokon. So it had me questioning whether we're going back now to the 90s within this level, or are we still in the same universe? Because Marvel has a habit of doing that type of stuff, doesn't it? Where it switches universe, you never know where exactly you are. Because I was asking myself, if they're in the background of a game, are they going to be in the game? So seeing Gambit in the background, does that mean we're not getting Gambit in the game? That's my question. How do you feel about that, Spence? If he's in the background of the game, are we getting someone like a Gambit?
Well, me and Davey informed me just before this topic that Nightcrawler is in the background as well.
He was also in there, yes, correct.
And I very, very, very much would like Nightcrawler to be playable.
In his 90s outfit as well.
I'd love one of the characters you mentioned, Charles. I'd love to be playing as Charles.
You want Xavier in there, do you?
Mate, that'd be crazy, just hopping on people's head with your wheelchair. That'd be nuts. I'd love it.
Crazy.
What if he's just like an assist and he just makes the other person stop moving? Nuts. Bro, it'd be sick. Don't know how they do it, but it's Arc Sys, they can figure it out.
It'd be a nightmare to play against the computer if they're using it, because they can read all your inputs, can't he?
Yeah, well,
so it'd be a nightmare to fight.
Read your inputs and your mind.
Yeah.
God, what are you doing? No mixing it up either. I think, Phil, if they're in the background, they're not playable. I do think that. There's two stages as well, by the way.
That is interesting because the fact that, because I did some research, and there are fighting games of the past that would have had characters in the background, and then they became released at later stages, but all they did was just remove them from the background. So to answer my question, I don't believe this eliminates them from being in there. Also on the point that I was trying to make, that these characters do not look like they're from the same universe as the Marvel Tokon fighters. You look at Iron Man, he's all jazzed up on Gundam. Right? He doesn't look like a traditional Iron Man, right? If you look at Gambit, you look at Nightcrawler, you look at Professor X, they're the 90s characters. That doesn't mean we're not going to get a Tokon-style Gambit in the game. That's my belief.
Agree with you, Phil. I think this doesn't mean a door's closed, because Iceman was there too, right? Iceman would be sick in Tokon. And no, I can't imagine they'd close the door on these people. I think it's exactly what you say, that they might not be there day one, but DLC down the line, they get removed out of the background. Bob's your uncle, right? Street Fighter been doing it for ages, where they've had people show up in the background of stages, then they come out as characters later on. It's just one of those things, right? Like, you'll have characters, like, sticking on the same Street Fighter thing, you'll have characters that are shown in, like, fucking World Tour or whatever, and you'd be like, oh, they're in World Tour, they might not be in the main game. They come out in the main game later. Don't worry about it. It's all right. Like, all these things seem to happen, like boss characters that were always locked behind being boss characters in arcades, and then they get released as DLC down the line. I think, fighting games, it's never a hard, fast rule that just because they're there, they won't be in there in the future. And if this game has the legs that they hope it does, and you get several years worth of DLC, they'd be daft to not include more X-Men, right? So I'm hoping that you're right, Phil, that we got potential to see Iceman, Gambit, etc., and so on, all here. Because why not, man? Like, people love them, so why not? And it's nice, easy wins for the crowd.
Very true. But does it put more stock in characters that aren't in this stage to come out earlier? So someone like a Magneto, he's got to be close, hasn't he?
Yeah, there's no Wolverine there, is there? Wolverine's fucking day one.
Yeah, you just assume he's going to be in the game. I'd be so shocked if Wolverine's not in this game.
It'd be mental, wouldn't it?
Be
And no
that-
Cyclops there.
That would be a choice. Exactly. Cyclops and Magneto, I think, basically having this stage is like, these guys are going to be in the game early doors.
Yeah. No Jean Grey either. Could go well for me on these bets that we got going. Could go well. I have to wait and see. But
The
no,
thing-
oh, sorry,
I was
Karen.
going to say, that's all right. The thing I think is quite cool, sticking to the X Mansion, like you were saying, I don't know how to word this. The stage transitions that happen when you play, the X Mansion doesn't have any. So you can't slam people through the walls to unlock your character. That's not on this stage. You just can't do it. It's the way they're doing these stages not only is just quite cool, you get a new stage, it's changing the gameplay. It's changing the mechanics. I just think that's quite sick, man.
I just think that it's fucking the only cool thing about this, because I completely agree with you, Spence, that for me, when this came on the screen, I was thinking, yeah, here we go, pull the dock up for all our character predictions, right, time to like get some shots in the dock from this, and then nothing. So I was like, fuck, that's bitterly disappointing, because you'd expect to start seeing that roll out from now, and then it obviously wasn't here. Silver lining is, though, that we get to play Spider-Man and Ghost Rider on this new beta.
True.
So it's like, oh, well, to be fair, and I'm not doing an awful lot on the 5th and 6th. I got the kids. Karen's there, though. I already said, well, I might have to owe you a few favors here, because you might be taking the kids. So, fuck, I'm going to put some hours into Spidey, bro.
I mean, I've got it in my calendar. I've put the weekend free. I'm not doing nothing.
Yeah. No practice mode, though, which is a shame. But a full weekend's worth of being able to lab against people that are absolutely garbo at the game. Be surprised what you can pull off in a weekend.
Yeah. The issue is I can't remember any of the combos I had.
No, just do this, mate. Just mash it across your face.
Yeah.
Stuff will happen. Stuff will happen. Oh, man. When do you reckon we're seeing the next lot then, guys? When do you reckon we're seeing the next load of characters?
There's a chance Jeff Keighley might show us some. I don't think it's a high chance.
Don't you?
I don't think so. I think this is the kind of game where, at like an Evo, they do an announcement and stuff. Obviously, Evo's bloody age is like yonks
Yeah,
away.
miles away.
Yeah, yonks. But, it's just not going to be Evo, is it?
Nope.
I don't know.
I think it could be the pre-show. Remember we got a Street Fighter reveal at the pre-show of a Game Awards?
That would be wild.
It could be pre-show.
We did. I remember because one of your bets, debuted that was we were going to get a character release, and it was all set up for the Game Awards. And because it was a fighting game, it got bumped down to the pre-show.
That that's wild though, isn't it? Because it was shown. It was announced just on a State of Play, wasn't it? It wasn't on like a Game Awards or anything like that, was it?
No, it was a pre-show. Remember, he has kind of comedian that
Tokon
comes
you're
on
on about.
before.
Yeah, no, sorry. I'm talking about when was Tokon first announced. Was that
State of
was
Play.
at State of Play, right?
State of Play, mate. State of Play.
Yeah. I
think
It
you're right,
could-
Phil. I completely agree with you.
I don't. I think the hype would be too much. I think they'd bump it up. Because it's not like as if it's already out. If the game was out and it was DLC, I could see it a lot more. But because it's not, it's going to be a big deal, whoever they announce. And you'd assume it would be 4 characters, whatever the pop is. That'd be a brand new team, right?
I don't know. You got Spider-Man and Ghost Rider. Why wouldn't it just be 2 at a time now?
Well, they were already shown. They already announced before.
They just weren't in the beta.
Yeah, just weren't at the beta. So it's not really a big deal. But I think if you get 4 in, like 8 would be greedy, asking for 8. But
I'd love it.
it'd be sick. I reckon it. I fully anticipate it being at the Game Awards. Like, fully do. If it's not there, I'll be amazed. Like, if one of you guys put it up for one of your predictions for the Game Awards when we get there, it's going to be a safe.
Yeah.
There's no way I'll accept
it would be
anything more than a safe.
It would be a safe, yeah.
So if it's not there, I'll probably be a little bit worried actually if they don't announce characters at Game Awards. So we're thinking, oh, okay, maybe we don't have like
A big roster. Maybe it's literally like 12 playables.
yeah. I'll
Yeah.
start
Mm.
being a bit worried about it.
Fair point.
Anyone else got any more thoughts on Tokon before we move on?
No, I think that's it.
I mean, I've got loads, but I'll save them.
All right, okay. What about yourself, then, Mr. Hoy? Where you going with your Mary?
Okay, I'm going to go to an IP that we used to enjoy at a Sodium Showdown, but this is a new take on the Blazblue world. This is Entropy Effect X. So this is their roguelite action game that's coming out on February 12th, 2026. And it looked really, really fucking flashy, right? You get to take control of Ragnar the Blood Edge, and you get to go around swinging that sword, and it just looked fabulous. It looked really intense, and it looks like a perfect Portal game. Now, I was excited to see Jin Kazaragi, Null Vermilion popping up, maybe even Hakuman, right? Some of the greats from the Blazblue roster, and playing those in a roguelike game. It looks really, really, really good. So, yeah, excited about that one. And as I said, perfect for the portals. So that would be my shag outside Marvel Tokon. Sorry, my marry outside Marvel Tokon.
Very good choice, mate. Very good choice. I had this on my backup marry. So I'm kind of running out of options here on mine now. Like, we've kind of talked about through everything, but no, I fully agree. When we saw this game, I thought, Jesus Christ, you called it really quick. It'd be a BlazBlue, and I didn't pick up that connection at all in looking at it, but it just looked really interesting. It looked it looked just flashy in all the best ways that these side-scrolling kind of action games can be, and there's been so many of them lately over the last few years. We've been eating really, really good. There was such a kind of drought of these kind of experiences for a while, and then all of a sudden, it seems to be the last couple of years, we're getting like great ones all the time. So yeah, I'm right there with you, man. I think it's a great shout. I think it's certainly one to keep an eye on. I probably would need to see more before it becomes like an official marry. It kind of feels like with Tokon's kind of the big cheese, isn't it, for the marry on this?
For sure.
And then everything else like kind of a step down. It's kind of like a Vegas wedding, rather than like a kind of rush through, get married by Elvis kind of thing.
It's not the love of your life.
No, it's like a weekend thing, and then you call it off after.
Yeah,
you know, seems to be that kind of thing. But
you tell her you're going to marry her, but you don't really.
Yeah, you just walk out.
String her along.
I do not agree to marry.
Oh,
snap!
Oh shit!
But what did you think about this one, Spence?
Well, the thing is, if I wasn't first, which I always am, thank God, this would have been my second marry as well. So I very much agree with the choice. When I first saw it, the one character looks like Sol from Guilty Gear, so I thought, is it a Guilty Gear roguelike? And my mate Kyle, who is not in the fighting game scene at all, went, is it not BlazBlue? And I looked at him like, why? How do you know BlazBlue, bro? But apparently he knows BlazBlue, and he was right. And like you said, Phil, it just looks flashy as hell, and it looks like a whole lot of fun. The issue is, I don't think I would actually get it unless, kind of like Pacific Drive, and like you said, a perfect Portal game. If I had a Portal, 100%, I'd be picking it up and playing it on the Portal. But
it's not a main game, is it, this one?
It's never a main game, no. It's like Davey said, it's a step down from Tokon, but it's still, quite good.
And the IP is doing a lot of carrying here, I think.
No, not necessarily. I think if the gameplay looked the way it does and it's as flashy as it is, even without it being BlazBlue, I think it's still, I don't care that much about BlazBlue. I don't give two rats about BlazBlue, but it's cool. It's cool. And it's a nice little spin-off that I did not see coming at all.
No, definitely not. For Arc System Works, they're busy boys.
Oh, mate, always have been, mate. Arc Sys, kill it.
You'd think they'd be putting 100% of their effort into Marvel Tokon, but no, they're breaking out the BlazBlue side games.
That Japanese work ethic goes crazy.
Fair play to them.
Yeah,
and it looked really, really good. It didn't look as if they were phoning it in. They're just chucking their characters into some side-scrolling beat 'em up. Nah, this game looked hot.
It did look really good. Wait and see, man. Hopefully we see a bit more of this. Again, I think this is the big thing from this direct, is that there are games here that do speak across the pond, and I want across the landmass of Asia,
the pond
into Europe, and I want to see more. So just fucking stop putting them on the blogs and shit, and just put more stuff out for them, because I want to consume them and see if I want to buy them. So, but yeah, definitely one for a watch list for damn sure. Now, for me, my last one by marry is going to be a bit of a weird one to put here. We've never put something like this in a marry, but I think it'd be a good little conversation point. Now, the whole point of this direct was to appeal to the Japanese audience. And so my Mari here is the Japan exclusive edition of the PlayStation 5 digital, which is an 825 gigabyte digital PS5, coming in at 55,000 yen, which if I put that into GBP, to pounds, that's £269.45.
That's so good.
Such a good fucking price point for Japan. Now, I've also done a bit of digging on this. So the PS5 sales at the moment in Japan are sitting at 7.13 million. The PS4, around the same time, was 7.96 million. So they're quite a bit behind. And as we all know, the Japanese market, outside of the Switch, where there is super just blowing away numbers, everyone in Japan seems picking up the Switch too. The PlayStation kind of ecosystem, especially when it comes to consoles, have not been reliant on Japan for a long time. It's moved away from Japan back in PS3. It moved away from it being even like a major market for them. And this whole Direct's whole purpose was to be able to get out there and appeal to those Japanese fans. And that was evident from the fact that they did a recap of what the PS5 does. You know, like we saw right at the start of PS5 launching, where it's like it's got rumble, it's got haptic feedback, it's got sensors, it's got triggers, and you know, it was showing all the shit that we saw like just before the PS5 launch for like Europe and America. We were seeing that kind of video here, specifically tailored for the Japanese, just to get them to relook at it and to think about picking it up. And I think this is the fucking super smart idea, to be able to have something that is cheap. It's only plays in Japanese. It's only Japanese language. So for anyone else around the world, you can't just go and get one of these and hope for the best unless you can learn Japanese, which I don't think would be cheaper than just, you know, a couple £100. But hey, but I think it's just a really, really smart idea to be able to do this and to be able to target a market specifically, create a showcase which is specifically for them, come in with a really discounted price for a console, and then to remind them of what that console does. And I think they just fucking nailed it with that. I think it's so fucking clever. I wish they did it for English markets.
Yeah,
but
Yeah.
but absolutely no need. And so for me, that's my Mari, because it is just something that I think it achieves what they wanted this direct to do. And I think for people in Japan, if they were on the fence about getting one, knowing that you got one, you know, a couple $100 cheaper, now's the time to jump, you know? And so for that reason, I'm going in for this. What do you guys think about this specific kind of console pricing for that one market? How'd you take it? Spence, I'll come to you first.
I think it's very interesting. It's a very, very interesting idea. And it's a phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal price point. I think it's very cool. My main only, not concern, my question is that surely it's Japan only. Surely that's only like the console UI. Surely the games you play still have their language options.
Yeah, I'd imagine so. Yeah, but
so
it could well be that the same way that like Phil's, for example, when he plays on his American, he can't really buy content through that way, right? So it could well be that it's kind of tailored down that way. I'm not sure, but yeah, I imagine, as you're quite rightly saying, that it is solely a case of the kind of base UI experience is fully just encapsulated in Japanese, but the rest of it, when you put a game in, it's gonna, you know,
you play English.
You want with it, right?
Yeah, it'd be fine. So it's to be fair, it's just not bad anyway. And a lot of people in media will the tariffs, as if like this, you know, helps with that. But I don't know. I think it's a very interesting idea. The issue is, my only issue with it really, it's impossible to do anywhere else. I think it's pretty much only Japan where you could do this thing. And if that's a market they want to cater to, which they clearly do now, brilliant bloody idea. But I just don't know how I feel about it, really. I think it is really nice for the Japanese community. Where's mine? Where's my English one, you know? Where's my English one for £250? That's what I want, but they can't.
No, and it's a similar move to what Nintendo did for the Switch 2, didn't they? Because they had a Switch 2 solely just for the Japanese market. So it's kind of a parallel to that. I assume is the only thing. Something was pulling my head. I was thinking that this has existed before, and did a quick Google, and it was the Switch too. But Phil, how are you feeling about all this?
Well, I was going to say exactly that fact.
Oh,
actually.
man, I'm so sorry.
That's totally fine. That's the perils of going last in the conversation. Generally, the things that you want to talk about have already been talked about. But yeah, it's not the first time console developers have taken this approach to the Japanese market by reducing the console by a significant number. But it's great, really. You know, if you're trying to launch something, why wouldn't you reduce it and take the hit on it to try and get as many people to take up buying a PlayStation 5 and getting into the ecosystem. So I think it's a very, very wise move by Sony to do something like that. And Spencer, exactly right. It probably wouldn't work in a lot of other regions because Japan are unique in the sense that they have this language that no one else speaks, right? And they don't really speak English, right? Their main language is Japanese. So you can console lock or region lock a console very easily. So yeah. Good on them. Lucky them. But hey, we've already got the PlayStation. We've been playing it for years. So I don't need another PlayStation. Got two.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
5
fair.
years deep. 5 years deep, and they haven't jumped on. It's a nice way to be able to just target them and hope that they become a bit more relevant in there. They are a Japanese company, Sony. So, you know, they don't want to totally give up the space to the Switch. Great way to fight back. And wish them all the best. And now we're on to our kills, lads. I think there's quite a few choices here. I don't think we're going to be picking over each other. So, Spence, we're back round to you.
Sure, I'm going to go for my low-hanging fruit. This is the one, when it came up, I thought, what the fuck am I looking at? And it's not even that Japanese. I suppose it's a bit Japanese. Pac-Man World 2 Repack Sonic the Hedgehog collaboration set DLC. For one, right, this is apparently a Pac-Man game and Sonic's coming in. It looked like a Sonic game that you can play Pac-Man in. It looked weird. The whole time I was like, oh, a new Sonic game or something. It's not. It's Pac-Man. Who's playing Pac-Man World 2 Repack, even in Japan? And who's getting excited that Sonic's coming to it? I'm just very perplexed. I will say, though, in its defense, I know I'm killing this off, but in its defense, the DLC looked so expansive and like they were adding so much to it. It looked like a really comprehensible DLC. It looked great. But I'm just confused as to why they're announcing anything for this game and that Sonic's coming to it. Because why wouldn't he? You know, Pac-Man and Sonic been boys since day dot, bro. It just pissed me off seeing it. I thought this is not something. This is a blog post game. And I didn't like that I saw it in the Japan State of Play. Just pissed me off.
Yeah, I know what you mean. It was a weird thing. I quite liked the trailer. I thought the trailer was quite cool.
Oh, it was great. Yeah, it was great.
Yeah, I didn't really have any averse problems to it, but I totally get what you're saying. I mean, Phil, where are you siding on this one?
That's a bit of a difficult one because there's so much kind of nonsense in this state of play. It's very hard to remember certain specifics of games. It's quite easy just to gloss over it. Okay, it was a Pac-Man game. Sonic turned up. He's cheating on Mario. I think that was our comment, wasn't it? At the time. You know, it's usually Sonic and Mario who are buddies, not Sonic and Pac-Man. Like, is Pac-Man relevant outside Japan?
Yeah.
I mean, he was in Smash, wasn't he? But was he? He's never really been a super popular character, has he?
Well, probably not since Miss Pac-Man, no.
Yeah.
I do
That's
love
a really,
Pac-Man.
really weird one. It's not a game that I'll be playing in the future anytime soon.
Yeah.
Well, do you want to bring me on to your kill then, Phil?
Sure. My kill, much like you, I'm going to take it in a slightly different direction because it's the other piece of hardware that we saw. And this is something that I don't personally think would work anywhere outside of Japan where, you know, they're not gaming on a big TV in their living room because they just don't have the space for it. So this is the new PlayStation Gaming 27-inch QHD monitor with a DualSense charging hook for Japan. It's just for the Japanese guys that have got small houses. It just isn't going to work in the UK. You know, console people in the UK, unless you're proper hardcore, game on a TV. Yeah, it's dead. Dead before it starts. It's just for Japan.
Yeah, you can get it in the US too.
Yeah, but who's buying it?
Well, yeah. I mean, if somebody needs like a new monitor and they get
There's plenty of monitors out there.
There is
so many monitors.
I
to
know.
have a PlayStation specific monitor and the thing they're selling it on is the charging hook.
Yeah, it's not doing
It's a
wonders
waste
for me,
of
mate.
time.
Yeah, it's not doing wonders for me.
No.
It certainly isn't. This one felt like as if they were like, yo, we got loads of these Sony monitors knocking about. They're like, can you just paint it white? I'm like, yeah. What else should we do to it? And they're like, got a blue LED? Yeah, already done that, mate. Fuck. Put a charging hook on it? Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Now it's
fuck it.
made for PlayStation.
Now it's PlayStation. You need to charge your dual sensors every few hours.
Crazy thing to include, but completely understand why it's there for the Japanese market. But if that came on to one of our Europeans, and I couldn't see it coming at Jeff Keighley's show, even though you're saying it's available in the US. Yeah, it's just a pointless bit of kit, really.
I was really hoping we'd talk about this because I saw this monitor and I laughed. I thought it was crazy. Not even if it was 4K, I could see getting it. It's not 4K this late in the console generation. We've had 4K for yonks now. It's been about for ages. The box says it does 8K. When, for one, it doesn't. But the box says it does 8K. And the monitor, oh yeah, come on. The box says it does 8K. This monitor that they're shipping, which is perfect for your PlayStation 5, doesn't play them the best it can. Like 5 years in. What the fuck? I thought it was crazy. And then the charging hook turning around just made me chuckle. I thought that charging hook is crazy. Because for one, what if you've got it on the hook and you think, oh, TV's a bit high, let me lower that. Bang! Smashes at the bottom. It's just a bad monitor, I think, man. It's just bad. And they've released the in-zone Sony monitors recently that are beautiful. What are they doing?
Sad about the back, mate. And I thought someone would buy this. Some mug. Fortunately, I'm not in there. I don't need a monitor.
No.
So otherwise, I would be the mug.
It can go along with those PlayStation speakers.
Yeah,
Actually,
exactly.
Spencer said he liked.
I do like the speakers.
I would like them if they had an audio jack.
Yeah.
Because they just don't get what people want. It's just like, who needs a PlayStation branded terrible monitor? Why would you not want a good monitor that probably costs about the same? Let's be honest.
Yeah.
That isn't PlayStation branded. Why are you going for the PlayStation branded one?
It charges your pad.
It should be better for playing PlayStation on because it's a PlayStation branded one, but it's not.
No. Although, to be fair, if you play in performance mode most of the time on a base PS5, you ain't getting 4K anyway. So, but that's, topic for another day. PS6, please save us all. So my kill, lads, and I feel bad for putting this in here because I know there's somebody for here, but I've raged on the fact of sim games that you can just do in real life enough. So I'm putting in Inconbini 1 Store, which is coming out in April 2026. And this is a game where you just work in a shop. It's a sim game about working in a shop, stacking shelves, taking money at the till, chatting to customers. That's the game. So out of all the things that you need to sim, why this? Like everyone's first job, or a lot of people's first job, is working in like a supermarket. I did it at 16. Phil, you did it from 16 probably when you joined Summerfield, whatever it was back in the day.
GCSE, so yeah.
Yeah, 16. Age. Yeah, around them. Now, you can relive your youth from your 16-year-old and go back in and do it in a virtual Japanese store. Stack some shelves, put some beans on there. Old lady comes in, chat to her. How's your day? Oh, weather's not great, blah, blah, blah. I don't know if Japanese talk about the weather like we do. And then you just literally take the money for the till. Cheers, see you later. They might come in the next day. Maybe there's a quest. Have you met my son? Do you want to go on a blind date? Sure. He has to come in the store because I can't leave because I work. Brilliant. Fucking shit. Second game shown at the State of Play this was, and it didn't start well. I can't imagine there's many Japanese people that think, fuck me, always wanted to work in a store. But I'm trapped in this office. I wish I could work in a store. Now I can. Who the fuck is this for? I just don't get it.
And visiting Japan, there is a lot of konbinis out there. There is literally 7-Elevens every street you walk down. So konbinis are convenience stores, Davey, in Japan, and they are everywhere. So yes, you could very easily. I know we were talking about trucking as being like a step down from flying a plane. This is a step down from trucking, working in a
major step
or
down.
A supermarket.
Massive step down. The pay differential is nuts as well.
Yeah, this is like the step down of, it's like being fucking paper round simulator. At least without you riding a bike, cruising round, right?
True.
Throwing stuff. You can see some gameplay application to Paperboy Simulator. Working in a shop. Not even in VR. Because I thought, if it's at least in VR, it'd be quite fun. You know, you're stacking the shelves, whatever, throw some shit around, all that kind of stuff. No, fully serious. You're just working out your 9 to 5. Brilliant. Any thoughts on this one? Oh, sorry, Carol.
Go on.
I remember in Dave the Diver, you can work in a sushi shop and you can pull beer. Because I was thinking, what's another kind of like entry-level job that a lot of people would have? Working in a bar. There's just loads of these sort of sims out there that people do, that they could easily do in real life. But yeah, you're right. In Konbini One store, that's pretty achievable for 99% of people.
Yeah. You have to be fucking dumb as hell to not be able to work in a supermarket. Like, you have to be fucking thick as shit, to be fair. Like, really bad. Or just really bad people, you know?
Could be.
Yeah.
Could be that way.
Socially inept.
Yeah.
Although back in the day, you have to have a little bit of skill because you used to have to lift the papers. So you had to be a bit strong. Push the trolleys. That was a difficult job. That was always for the males. We had to do all that back in the day. But nowadays, it must be easier because we've got equal rights. The girls will have to push the trolleys and stack the papers.
Exactly right, yeah. And pull the cages out from the back.
Yeah. Go in the fridge.
Yeah.
Around the
all
back. Take your time. And then realise I'm standing in a fridge.
these.
What am I doing with my life?
Yeah.
I'm on £6 an hour. Fuck the system.
Yeah. I'm just chilling out in here.
Ba-dum-tsh.
I hope you like that one. What do you think about in Konbini One store, Spence?
I think it looks great, man. I think the thing is, right, you're saying all this, we live in different worlds where I'm in the same world as you boys, where we play, AAA experiences come out and a few indie games every now and then, so on and so forth. Simulator games on PC do gangbusters, especially supermarket simulators and just like working in the store simulators. They bang on Steam, they bang on Twitch and YouTube. Thousands of views. YouTubers churn out simulator videos. This will probably, out of all the games on this list, I wouldn't be surprised if, other than maybe Tokon or Elden Ring, if this sells the best.
So you're thinking this is another Infinity Nicky situation where I'm raging on it and everyone else loves it.
Yeah, actually, yeah. But this is, I quite like the look of this. I think it looks quite cute. I'm not going to play it, obviously not. I got better shit to do. But, I think it's going to do well.
Get a job in Asda, pal.
I need to now. Tesco won't get me back.
There you go. Just walk into Asda. Excuse me. I've been playing a lot of in Konbini One store. I've got 400 hours in Konbini. I reckon I can revolutionize Asda for you. They'd be like, please, we've been waiting for
you
someone of
leave
your
crying because people in the UK are way meaner than they are in Japan.
Yeah. There is that. Well, any other games you guys want to call out on? Or should we just leave it here? Because I got nothing else to talk on here. Nothing at all.
I think we'll leave it out to the listeners and the viewers. If they've got anything to say that we've missed out, please write it in the comments below and we'll bring it up in the next show if it's worth talking about. Which it may not be because we've been through quite a few games tonight and we're struggling towards the end. I must admit.
Yeah. There you go. Well, audience, that brings episode 124 to a resounding close. It's been a pleasure to have you with us on this journey, on this epic quest through the PlayStation Nation. And joining me, as always, have been the two lovely, sexy little boys in Phil and Spence. It's been an absolute pleasure to podcast with you boys, as it always is. Audience, if you've enjoyed the show, a couple of ways you can let us know. First, you can write into the email, pstrust@gmail.com. You can hit us up on the socials and write in and say, guys, killed it again. I'd be like, thank you very much. What you can also do, and the thing I'd prefer, and I will reply to you with if you do put that into the comments or anywhere, put a rating on. Go on to Spotify, go on to Apple, anywhere you consume your podcasts, put a rating onto the show. It really, really does help us find a wider audience. If you're on YouTube, then we are on the drive to 300. Join our little Spartan army. Let's get to 300 before year end. If you're watching on YouTube, then hi. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, comment below with anything you want to comment. And Phil does run the comment section on there. So if you're mean, well, or if you're nice and just ask a genuine question, Phil will come for you normally.
I've been a lot nicer recently. I don't know if you've been reading the comments. I've been trying to work the crowd a little more than previously.
Well, I do check the comments. It's hit or miss, isn't it? It's not fully there. You're not fully reformed. But I'm having a coughing fit from hell over here at the moment. I'm still not well. Audience, I've gone through for you. I'm dying. If I don't make it to 125, then Phil has all my shots.
Thanks.
Yes.
Jesus.
And with that bombshell, we shall bring this episode to a close. I've been Davey.
I've been Phil.
And I've been Spencer.
Take care, guys.
Peace.